Here is number 23. Now, this question is pretty straightforward. They just want you to look at the graph and write a couple of sentences about what is going on here. Well, just by looking at the picture here, there's a big difference, white and pearl, this color for the cars, the percentages. Many more people in the U.S. prefer that color than in Europe. And then there's a reverse over here, silver. More people in Europe like silver than the U.S. Same thing with black. Okay, so, and you might say, come up with some kind of a reason why that's true. I'm not sure. But anyway, that is the answer to that question. Just say what you see. Now, here's the other thing, is we get confused with the word distribution. It just is, how are these percentages distributed? So the percentages are smaller for these, right? That's how they're distributed. And larger, there's more cars over here. So because we use this word distribution over and over and over in this course, and the distribution is, how are they handed out, basically, right? How are they distributed? How many of each are there? So I just want to be clear about that. When we use that word distribution, how many of each in each category? So there's that. Here we are on page 25, and this is number 25. Now, this is our first question where they ask us to do the 4-step process. Okay, 4-step process is state, plan, do, conclude. State is basically, these questions can be kind of wordy, and we want to just boil it down to a simple statement of what are we trying to find out. So the state here would be, we want to see, is there an association between snowmobile use and membership of a environmental group. Now, the plan, not plane, idiot. Okay, so the plan is to, we're going to do, how about a conditional distribution. So we're going to take a look at, provided that these people are involved with an environmental club, what is their snowmobile usage? So we'll look at all these percentages. The do is, so we'll actually write that down. We'll say we're going to do a conditional distribution based on environmental group membership. And the do is, we actually do the thing, right? We show the data. And then the conclusion. Now, lots of times students come down with a conclusion and there's just a number or percentage. That is not a conclusion. The conclusion, just like when you write an essay, should come back to your claim, right? What your state says. So based on what you saw, what does that say about what you stated about the question? Okay, so I'm going to do the conditional distribution, and let's take a look at the numbers. So I'll just go through step by step. So that 36%, so provided that they are not a member of an environmental club, okay, only 36% have never used. Now, if they were a member, that's a much bigger jump. So that is a big difference between those two. Let's see if the other ones have similar differences. And the next one is, well, have you rented a snowmobile? Well, if you're a member of an environmental club, it's a lower percentage than if you're not a member of an environmental club. Now, you may have made some assumptions going in with this, People in environmental clubs might say, I'm not down with motorized vehicles in the forest, that kind of thing. But we want to trust the numbers, right? Use the math to make a conclusion. And the last one, do you own a snowmobile? 22% of the people that are not part of an environmental group versus a very, very small percentage, less than 1% of people that are involved with an environmental club. So, in the, let's see, in the book they use a side-by-side bar graph, which is perfectly fine, and we're going to make our conclusion. Is there an association? Well, it looks like there is an association. In other words, people that are members of an environmental club are much less likely to own, rent, or even use a snowmobile than other people. That's your conclusion based on the numbers. Okay. Now the rest of this 27, let's see, what is it? 27 through 32, that's multiple choice, and based on these last couple of videos, I think I've given you enough to try to get these correct. So there you go. Do those on your own.